Welcome to From Principles to Practice, where we practice biblical principles and show how we can live them out powerfully and unapologetically. Today we are talking about something that everyone needs, but not everyone is willing to admit they need it. And we are talking about community. You're probably saying, I'm good on that. I'm good on my own, apostle. But let's be real. We all crave connection. And it's time to stop pretending otherwise, because we all do. That's the bottom line. We live in a day and age where everyone is trying to go viral. Everyone wants to be remembered. Whatever your reason is, whatever you're trying to achieve, we all need community. And if you're one of those that think that you can make it on your own, I'm here to tell you today, you can't. You cannot. And you need to listen up. Because today is not about surface talk. Today we are diving into the deep. We're talking about the power of community. The kind of power that transforms lives. The kind of power that shakes foundations and builds kingdoms. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything today. Today might be one of the realest episode that you ever hear on this podcast so far. So today I'm here to give you the truth, unfiltered, so buckle up. So let's get something straight. There's a dangerous lie out there, and we've all heard it. And for some reason, this lie, it irks me. It goes like this: I don't need anyone. I'm self-made. I've got this all on my own. Man, I'm telling you, this thing aggravates me so much when I hear anybody say that they don't need anyone. Listen, if you're walking around with this mentality, you're setting yourself up for failure. Point blank, bottom line. No man, no woman, no kingdom rises in isolation. And if you think that you're the exception to the rule, then guess what? You're not. Let me drop some truth on you. Even Jesus surrounded himself with a community. Yeah, that's right. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, he didn't go solo. He didn't think that he got it all together. He had his 12. He had his inner circle. He understood the power of gathering people who could walk with him, learn with him, and grow with him. So if you're out there trying to do life without a solid community, let me tell you this. You're playing a losing game. There's no way you're going to win. Hear me carefully. Don't be out here talking about I'm self-made. When even the creator of the universe didn't roll solo. You want to level up? Build a community. Period. That's it. You cannot attain to anything in this life outside of community. We were all designed to live in community. The truth is, we are only as strong as the people around us. So I know you think that you are a superstar, but you're also only as strong as the people around you. Let me say it again for the people in the back. You are only as strong as the people you surround yourself with. If your circle isn't challenging you, if your circle isn't stretching you, if your community isn't pushing you to become the best version of yourself, guess what? You're not in a community. You're in a comfort zone, and you're in a very dangerous place. You ever seen those workout videos where people are lifting weights and they've got someone next to them yelling, come on, you got this, 1 more rep, 2 more rep, 3 more, give me 3 more. That's the power of community. It pushes you beyond your limits. It calls you out when you're slipping, and it celebrates when you're winning. Who's in your corner doing it for you? If you are trying to do life solo, you have nobody doing it with you. And let's not just talk about any community. Let's talk about faith-based communities. Yeah, that's right. The church, that prayer group, that Bible study. Don't underestimate the power of a group of people who are praying for your success, who are interceding on your behalf and believing God for your breakthrough. That's a power like no other. If your circle isn't praying for your success, if your circle isn't pushing you past your limits or calling you when you're slacking, then you don't have a community. Like I said before, you have a comfort zone. And comfort zones never produce greatness. Now, let's get into the spicy part. We've all seen communities rise up around all kinds of causes like social justice, environmental activism. You even have those that are built on fitness, business, or whatever. And that's cool. That's great stuff. But there's one community that has been the backbone of change for centuries. And guess what? It's the one a lot of folks are sleeping on. I'm talking about the evangelical Christian community. Some of you are like, wait, church? Really? Yeah, really. Think of this. The church is not just a building. It's not just a Sunday routine. The church is actually a living, breathing organism that has the power to shift atmospheres, has the power to break chains and even transform lives. You think community is powerful? Add faith into the mix, and you're talking supernatural power. The fact is, when the people of God gathers, things happen. The kind of things that make headlines, like miracles and breakthroughs and unexplainable transformations. But here's the catch. It's not for show. It's not for clicks. It's because God designed us to thrive in community. And when we align ourselves with His purpose, that's when the world starts to take notice. That's when we go viral. That's when we get noticed. Not because we are trying to, but because the world can't ignore the light. The truth is, you can be part of any community out there, but until you've been in a faith-filled, spirit-led, God-ordained community, you haven't seen power yet. You think the world notices your hustle? Or do you want the world to notice your hustle? Wait till they see what God can do with a community on fire for Him. You know, we've talked about the power of community, but let's get practical. Why does it matter? Why does it matter for you? Why does it matter for me? Why does it matter for the rest of the community members? Why should we care? Here's why we should care, and here's why it matters. Because the moment you step out of isolation and into community, that's when real change happens. Maybe you've been struggling in silence. Maybe you've been fighting battles that no one else sees. The breakthrough you've been waiting for, it's not coming while you're in isolation. That breakthrough will only come when you get around people who will lift you up, who will pray for you, who will pray with you, who will speak life into your situations. That is what you need. That is what we need. That is how we were designed to thrive, to succeed, to be successful in life. Community. And here's another thing. When you're part of a community, you're not just receiving, you're also giving. So your testimonies, your stories, your experiences, your skills, your ideas, your thoughts, all of these, they can change someone's life. When you withhold your gifts, when you withhold your talents, or even that simple encouragement from a community member or the community at large, you're robbing others of their breakthrough as well. You see, the beauty of sharing in community, the beauty of giving back to community, is it helps with your breakthrough and also the breakthrough of others. Your breakthrough isn't gonna happen while you're out here fighting battles in isolation. You need a community. You need people praying for you, speaking life into you, and lifting you up. Stop holding your struggles in the dark and get plugged in to the power of a faith-based community. So here's the deal. The power of community is real and it's life-changing. It's truly transformative. But it's also waiting on you to take the first step. Whether it's a church or a support group or even an online network, you need to get plugged in. You need to get connected to the community. Stop buying into the myth that you're better off alone. We were all created for community. Your destiny is tied to community. And when you step into the right community, whether it's evangelical, whether it's faith-based, whether it is any other community that we've talked about today, be it sports, be it hobbies, whichever community, once you get plugged into the right community, you're going to see the kind of growth, the kind of transformation, and the kind of power that you've only dreamed about. You were created for community. Your destiny is tied up, it's wrapped up, it is waiting for you to get to the right community. So step into the right one, and you will see the kind of transformation that will have the world asking, who is this person? This person has changed my life. So come on, get plugged in and watch how God moves in your life. Before we wrap up today, let me share a couple of stories with you. Real stories that illustrate the power of community in ways you might not expect. The first story. I once knew a woman who had been struggling with a series of setbacks. She lost her job, her health was declining, and she was battling with deep depression. On the outside, she looked like she had it all together. But on the inside, however, she was seriously and devastatingly falling apart. Now, she wasn't part of any community at that time. She did not go to church. She was not part of any groups. She just kept to herself. She was trying to fight this battle in isolation, and it was tearing her apart. Then one day, almost out of desperation, she decided to attend a small prayer meeting at a local church. She wasn't even sure why she went. Maybe it was a last-ditch effort, I don't know. But that one decision changed her life. When she arrived, the women in that ministry welcomed her with open arms. They prayed with her, spoke life into her, and more importantly, they walked with her through her struggles. You know, it didn't happen overnight, but slowly she remained part of that faith-based community. Her life began to turn around. She found a new job. Her health began to improve. Of course, it wasn't instantaneously. And she began to experience a joy that she hadn't felt in years. But the real breakthrough, if you ask me, it came from the power of that prayer circle. It came from these women who stood by her, supported her, the women that reminded her of God's promises. And that promise is that she is not alone. And that's the power of community. Here's another one for you. A friend of mine shared his story about a young man who moved to a new city for work. He did not know a single soul when he first moved. So he had a new job, a new city, knew everything, and he thought he'd be fine. After all, he was an independent, he was capable. But after a few months, the loneliness began to weigh heavy on him. Do you know that we were not created to be alone? Loneliness is a serious issue that we underestimate. In fact, God said in Genesis, He said, it is not good for a man to be alone. After a few months, this gentleman being alone began to weigh heavy on him. The work became stressful, and without a community to lean on, the pressure started to crush him. Then one weekend, he got invited to a community service project by a guy from his workplace. He was reluctant at first, but he agreed eventually. It was just a group of people getting together to clean up a local park. But that small act, just showing up, working alongside strangers, that small act ended up connecting him to a group of people who would become his closest friends. Now, this community supported him when he had tough days at work. They also were able to celebrate his wins, his victories, and when life threw him curveballs like it throws every one of us, they were the ones who stood by his side. Eventually this gentleman even found his way back to a local church where his community now ended up depending on his faith when they were going through difficult times. The lesson here is this: even something as simple as showing up to help clean a park can lead to a life-changing connection. Sometimes the community you need is right there. You just have to step into it. You just have to step out in faith. Don't be afraid. Don't be fearful. Just step and plug into your community. These are just two examples. But the truth is, there are countless stories like these out there. People whose life would transform, not by going it alone, but by stepping into a community that cared for them, prayed for them, and lifted them up when they couldn't do it themselves. So as we close today, I want you to think about this. What would happen if you took that step? That step where you stop fighting your battles in isolation and you let a community, whether a faith-based or otherwise, you allow that community to walk with you. You know what? I promise you this. The result would be more than you could ever imagine. It would be life transforming in a positive way. I want to encourage you to connect to the community you didn't know you needed. Because every single one of us, we need community. Thank you so much for tuning into From Principles to Practice. If this episode was good for you, if it made you feel hopeful, optimistic, if it answered some questions, if it encouraged you in any way, I want to ask you to do me a favor and please share it. Share it with your friends, your family members, your co-workers, your church members, your enemies even. Let us just connect and help encourage somebody else. And remember, community isn't just something that is nice to have or nice to be a part of. It is actually the key to unlocking your full potential in this life. So until next time, stay connected, stay grounded, and stay in community. Please check out our website, podcast.fromprinciplestopractice.com. I want to encourage you to support us, please, on the website. You can give a donation of any amount. We appreciate you for that. Also, if you want to get a hold of us, you want to contact us, you can do that by emailing fromprinciplestopractice@gmail.com. That is all the time I have for today. Until next time, stay connected, stay grounded, and stay in community. I have been your host, Apostle Dr. Ivon Valerie, and I'll see you on the next episode. God bless.